Hey guys, how you doing? Eric at SoCal Cigars here. So, being true to my word, a few videos ago I said I would put out another refresher course series on the basics of cigars for the new cigar smoker. Things like selecting a cigar, cutting a cigar, lighting the cigar, smoking the cigar, etiquette, things like that. We're going to run through some of the basics. So this is going to be the first in that series. This one's going to be cutting. Because I'm going to kind of jump past selecting a cigar, because I'm just going to jump right into, hey, let's say tomorrow you're going to go and someone hands you a cigar and you didn't go through that process of picking one out. They just gave you one and you're like, crap, now what do I do so I don't look like a total noob because I'm not sure how this works? Okay. You don't just cut it. And I've seen people do this. In fact, I have a really quick story I'll tell you. My motorcycle chapter, we had a Christmas party years ago, and some guy showed up that we didn't know. He was like a +1, and he bought a really nice cigar, probably spent a good 30, 35 bucks on it. So it was a decent cigar, and we watched him cut this thing, and he just put the cutter on and went snip. And we're like, dude, you just ruined that cigar, right? We didn't say anything because whatever, we didn't even know this guy. And the deed had been done. He already cut it. He didn't understand all about what I'm going to explain in a minute about this cap, right? So within 5 minutes, his cigar in his mouth is unraveling. The wrapper is coming off. It's because he cut too far and he removed from the cigar what keeps it from falling apart. And again, in a few seconds here, I'm going to explain that to you. And so he was going off this piece of shit cigar, and he was so pissed off, and et cetera, and we're like thinking, dude, it's not the cigar, man, it was you cut it wrong. That being said, though, not everything about cigars is intuitive. You just hear about people cut a cigar and they light it and they smoke it. Well, if no one really shows you, it's going to slip into the category of you don't know what you don't know until someone shows you or teaches you. So here I am. So cutting a cigar. Is there a proper way? Absolutely there is. Are there multiple ways? Also, absolutely there are. So let's start with the basics. So I grabbed a kind of I don't even know what this was. There's no band on it, and I got it from somewhere. Anyway, perfect candidate for us to cut. Yeah, this is a Connecticut. We'll get into that in a different video, because this video I'm sort of jumping past the picking out a cigar part, because this could be a situation where you show up somewhere and there's a bunch of people smoking cigars and someone says, hey dude, you want a cigar? And you're like, uh-oh, sure? And then you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I have no idea what the hell to do here. I'm going to look like an idiot. I don't want you to experience that. So the first thing we need to understand about how a cigar is made is there's 3 parts. There's the filler. That's the inside bulk of the cigar. Around that is a binder. It's a lower, not necessarily quality, but a lower cosmetically refined leaf that helps the cigar retain its cylindrical shape. Okay, so that's layer 2. You don't really even see it. The outside part is what you see. This happens to be a Connecticut. It's a light tan cigar. This would be considered typically a more mild cigar. We'll go into that further in a different video. That is the outer wrapper. So when they wrap the cigar, they wrap sort of the leaf at an angle, and it kind of wraps spirally through. And you can sort of see, I don't know if you can see it, but you can sort of see this spiral line. I can see the sections of the leaf going down the cigar. So the thing is, what happens at the end though? Because if you cut it, isn't it just going to unravel? Well, potentially yes. But that's only if you cut it farther than it's supposed to be cut. So at the end of the cigar, okay, this is the foot, this is the cap, this is the end that we cut and we smoke, the foot is the end that we light. You may or may not be able to see it. I'm hoping you can. If you can see, there's different layer lines in here. So what they've done at the end of the process of making the cigar is they've cut a little piece of tobacco that they are now wrapping around the top to make this cap piece. What that does is it holds the rest of the cigar together so it doesn't unravel when you're smoking it. So the key for you is, when you go to cut your cigar, you never want to cut past the bottom line of the cap. So sometimes you'll see 2 or even 3 lines of the cap that is now running around the cigar. So I can show you, if you can see it, hopefully, where my nail is. That's the bottom line. If I pass down this way and I cut my cigar, it will unravel. So what I want to do is make sure I'm cutting and staying above that line. If I stay above that line, I'm gravy train. Okay, we're going to be good to go. We can go on to part 2, smoke or lighting, part 3, smoking, part 4, having a wonderful day. So, next thing, we keep talking about cutting. Well, how can I cut it? Okay, it's my fish lure of cutters. Lots of different stuff hanging here, but really all does the same thing. Okay, this is a punch. This, you pull this out and you put it in the end of your cigar, kind of like this, and you twist it, and it makes a little tiny hole in the end. Some people love this. Some people exclusively use this for box pressed cigars, which are more square or rectangular shaped. They're not round. So sometimes people feel it's hard to get a cutter on a boxed shaped cigar, so they use a punch to cut a hole in the end. Okay, but you can use a punch whenever. But that's a lot of times what people reserve it for. These are just called guillotine cutters. Okay, you'll see, you pull them apart. This has 2 knives. You can see they both have a blade curved. You put your cigar in the middle and you go cut, right? That's just a guillotine cutter. This is also a guillotine cutter with a backstop. So the theory behind this is when you stick your cigar in this, it only lets you stick it in so far, so you can't pass that cap line. So this was made specifically to not mess your cigar up. Okay, kind of cool. And again, other ones are all the same thing. These are all called guillotines. You can see this just has 1 angled blade, just different configurations of the exact same thing. Okay, for me, I like what they call a deep V or a V cut. This is my choice for cutters. Sorry, some World War II plane. I live near an airport that they restore World War II aircraft, and I get the pleasure of hearing them, which is absolutely awesome to me. I think it's so cool. Anyway, this is a Calibri V cutter. This one is a little deeper, so I kind of call it a deep V, but it's spring-loaded. Okay, so you pop it open, and if you can see in there, as I'm closing this, see that V-shaped razor blade? I'm gonna put my cigar in here. Now, you can't really tell, maybe you can. There's a bevel in here, so again, this kind of cups your cigar and also doesn't let you go too far in so that you can never cut too deep. So again, kind of a fail-safe. So you'll just put your cigar in and you'll close it, and it'll cut the V into it, okay? So that's really all there is to this, is that the key is don't cut your cigar too deep. Don't cut past the cap line so that it unravels, and then you're good to go, right? My advice, get a V cutter. You can get ones like this. They're cheap, $5-6, right? You don't need to spend like, I think this was like 30 or 40 or $60. I don't even know what this was. This is killer though. If you're not gonna skimp, don't skimp on a cutter. But that's down the road. For now, you can get one of these black plastic V cutters online or at a brick and mortar shop for probably under $6-7. That way, when you open it up and you stick your cigar in, it only goes so far. You're not going to mess it up. So let's just show you the cut. You're just going to stick it in, and then you're going to quickly clamp it down. Okay, pull your cigar out. There you go. Nice V cut. You have not gone past the cap. In fact, you can see there's the end of the V cut and there's the cap. Is it close? Yep, but it's fine. And actually on this side, the cap is way down here. So we're plenty good with having cut our cigar right there. So that's it, guys. That's the whole deal on cutting. Just don't go past the cap line and your cigar won't unravel for the most part. That's it. Simple. And again, you don't need to break the bank. You don't need to go get the best cutter on the planet. You can just get a cutter that works. I would say if you're concerned, get a V cutter and you kind of can't go wrong and you're good to go. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful. Probably the next one I do is going to probably be on lighting, because again, just like cutting, seems so simple, but there's better ways to do it than others. So we'll go over that in the next video. So anyway, Eric at SoCal Cigars, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Have some good time smoking and cutting your cigar, and we'll get you going, man. Don't worry, we got you here. If you're new, we got you handled. We'll get you. We'll get you to a place where you feel comfortable in any situation. When someone says, "Hey, here, you want a cigar?" You'll be like, "Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's do this." So we'll get you there. See you on the next video.